Abusuya we de mame enchiao na mema wakwa banfa wo embra Randy J report so ene enwumre yina ye nyina ye nim sese kane ya wonsensem ya ekoso o my Ghana mu aba ya rahosem a obi a esu efre aban no ewo niema bi a sese ekoso se nipa no ne fridge ansaya na ne fanya say obi TV bodan ho na asay ne de yakura coastal for a wo monam ahyase a eporo ya sese wo nyina de dwato akoto aban anim senka aban ntimi nya ho bibi mfama wo mo na sebikane ya sese edundumi no ka aban betimo ya ho bibi na eno na aban betu dwase odo ani kiremu Akosombo ne mpotamu a transformer kese bi eja tomu wo ha amana hye eno nti ena ama ene yehu de yehu ya wokomea ya hodo no a kanea na edundundundum sa na ebinum so ka se na ansa na se transformer ne mpo ba be hye no na ye de sumu nti eba ne sen ena aban no de sa ansem yi ene be yi ne ho no na ne nyina nkamfu ya no ene osofo no ene hwe ya ho de ne yeso me kire Minister for Energy Jenapo Jenapo ene wono ankasa wode nkiremu bebre no aba na de etwa nsurumu kura ne se de ombebo moden a se timetable a eno ne yebetimi ahwe so aka se o ha ye wodon hwede mienu ye wodon hwede miensa ewa ha no ombebo moden a so metimi de bia bre Ghana fo se de ebe ya upia unim bra wo kanea ena sebe odi na mo chef fridge ma unim bra uni kanea entia no beboa na aboye ho ban kosi bra wono betimi aye nsiesie no a ene ekoso ewo ho no mo no na ene waka nsem bebre no amepe se ye begibre na ye tie gina po woni nsem a wode atodwa ewo nsem a metimi aka se Ghana fo binom ebo enhyeda enwoso bebre no yenko na yenkotie gina po woni nsem a wode atodwa yibi ho.
Critical component of the
ladies and gentlemen of the media, and welcome to this special edition of the Government Accountability Series. After several months of stable electricity supply, we have recently had to face a number of challenges, and this has led to some power outages, which as a government we are deeply concerned about. Many things have been said, speculation has been rife, and the people of Ghana have expressed concern. So as a responsive government, we have scheduled today to provide you with concrete information on the situation, how it occurred, and what is being done specifically to quickly remedy the situation and return to normalcy. Who best to do this than the Honorable Minister for Energy and Green Transition, the Honorable John Abdullahi Jenapo, who today is accompanied by high-ranking officials from his ministry and the utility services. So without taking any more of your time, I would invite to the microphone the Honorable Minister for Energy and Green Transition to tell us what he has for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Let me thank you for giving me this opportunity, and good afternoon to you, members of the press, colleagues and fellow citizens. Over the past 15 months, this government has been working with focus and discipline to stabilize Ghana's power sector and deliver a more reliable supply of power to homes, to businesses and industry. This has been achieved despite the challenges we inherited as a government, and the records will show that as of December 2024, the deficit of what you call load shedding, and everybody can attest to that fact. Last year alone, we restored the partial risk guarantee from the World Bank, which had been depleted, $500 million. We paid over 1.4 billion energy sector debt, restoring confidence in the sector and ensuring that we deliver reliable power to the people of Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, taken together, these efforts have resulted in a period of relative stability in power supply, one that many Ghanaians have experienced over the past year. However, and as happens in life, recently we've had some major challenges. These challenges have become a two-pronged challenge. The first is the unfortunate incident that just occurred over the weekend. The second is the technical challenges we faced based on the obsolete equipment, overloaded transformers, and transformers that have been failing. But notwithstanding these challenges, the overall trajectory of the power sector remains strong, progressive. We continue with the reforms, and I must say that the sector remains resilient despite the recent challenges. And as Minister for the sector, even though this is a very challenging period, I am determined to work with the team to ensure that we overcome these challenges. And so, members of the press, with your permission, I will deal with these two challenges. And with your permission, I'll take care of the incident that happened at Akosombo last week. I address you today first on what happened to Ghana's biggest generation plant, the Akosombo plant. An unexpected and significant incident that has greatly and significantly disrupted power evacuation across the country. Fellow citizens, this incident represents one of the most serious and unprecedented disruptions ever experienced in Ghana's power sector. And in the energy sector, Akosombo used to serve as a balance of load. And so hitherto, all of us even believe that once you lose Akosombo, then you lose the entire nation. As unfortunate as it is, despite the loss of Akosombo, all the other plants have been running. But it leaves a major deficit. The fire incident severely damaged the control room responsible for power evacuation. Because when they generate the power from the thermal plant, from the hydro plant, it has to go to the control room first. Then the control room takes the power through the switchyard and distributes it. And so when you lose the control room, it means that on the spur of the moment, you cannot evacuate any power, thereby crippling the critical component of the transmission system, leaving over 1,000 megawatts of power stranded at Akosombo. Obviously, with such an unfortunate situation, and inevitably, it results in supply disruption across parts of the country. Fellow Ghanaians, as minister responsible for the energy sector, my foremost desire and objective is to ensure that every Ghanaian and every part of our country enjoys a stable, reliable, and uninterruptible power supply for economic activity and social activity. This has been the focus of our effort since assuming office, and we have not relented on that effort. This unfortunate and unprecedented disaster, which I have never witnessed, has resulted in the temporary curtailment of power from our largest generation source, the Akosombo Dam, leading to severe power challenges not witnessed in recent times. Let me state, and I state humbly, to all those affected by this situation, I wish to assure you that I deeply empathize with you and I share your frustration and discomfort in this trying moment. We never anticipated this. We never saw it coming. We've never witnessed it. It's challenging, but we would rise above this challenge. Let me assure you that government, working through all relevant sector agencies, have responded with urgency and coordination. Our engineers have since remained on site. Some of them have stayed there for 3 continuous days without leaving site, working around the clock under very, very extreme and difficult conditions to restore operations. It has been hard work. It has been determination. When I visited the dam site and received a briefing, it was very challenging. Others thought that it was not going to be possible. But I'm pleased to inform you today that through emergency technical interventions and sheer determination, the first generation unit was successfully restored yesterday. This afternoon, as I was about preparing to come for this briefing, I received confirmation from the acting Gridco MD and the VRA MD that the second unit has also been brought and is generating power. I've also been reliably informed that the third unit is undergoing works and that it will be brought on as soon as possible. When we bring on the third unit, it then paves the way that the new technology has proven to be successful. Then they will bring on the remaining 3 units. On behalf of government and on behalf of the good people of Ghana, I wish to seize this opportunity to commend and salute our engineers and technical teams who have remained on site, working tirelessly under extremely difficult conditions to restore the system to full operation. Let me tell you that your dedication, your professionalism, and unwavering commitment in the face of these daunting challenges and situation is truly, truly commendable. I salute you, I thank you, I commend you, and I'm immensely proud of what you've achieved so far. Given the situation, I've also directed the MD for the Electricity Company of Ghana to provide regular and timely updates to the public on areas that will be affected. We will not shirk responsibility. We will not deceive you. When I briefed the President told me to be honest and transparent. Yes, this unfortunate incident leaves a gap, and so it will affect some people. And so ECG, under the management of Engineer Julius Kwekwen, have been publishing regional updates. And in collaboration with the Ministry of Information, we're even going to make it more available for everybody to see what is happening. But because it is fluid, because it's not like the regular load shedding, where you are aware that for a foreseeable period of time, you cannot restore power, we cannot do weekly publications. In fact, engineers are working around the clock. Within this week, they are pushing to restore all the plants back online. And so we can only provide you with a very short interval period. Indeed, this morning, we published a schedule for 6 o'clock to 6 p.m. That's 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. This afternoon, they've had to review it because one more plant is come on with about 140 megawatts. And so we would not live in denial. When we face challenges, we will tell Ghanaians. We know that, like me, every Ghanaian wants to enjoy uninterruptible supply of power. But I also do know that Ghanaians also appreciate it when we have genuine challenges that is not caused by policy failure or intentional. We will be honest with you, but we'll also tell you what we are doing to address the situation. And we have since been doing that right from the day I visited the plant and all the periodic updates that we've been providing. Let me also state clearly that disasters of this nature are neither predictable nor entirely preventable. And even in advanced countries, sometimes they face challenges. However, what remains within our control is the speed, the coordination, the honesty, and the determination with which we respond to these challenges. In our attempt to swiftly restore power, safety would remain paramount. The safety of the engineers is very, very critical. We can't afford to lose even one soul or sustain any injury. And so this work ought to be done diligently, meticulously, in accordance with safety standards. We would move with alacrity, we would move swiftly, but we will not seek to cut corners. To get to the root cause of this incident, as Minister for the sector, I've constituted a technical team chaired by the Venerable Engineer Williams Amuna to conduct a thorough and independent investigation into the incident. They will focus on the technical issues and come up with a report in 2 weeks. I'm well aware that the security agencies are also conducting a parallel one, looking at possible culpability and criminality, and we'll be waiting for that investigation. Let me assure Ghanaians that we remain fully committed to restoring normalcy within the shortest possible time. I have been briefed that the engineers are working around the clock this week. And I intend to visit them this night to thank them and encourage them. I wish them the best of luck, and I know they can rise to the challenge. And from what I'm witnessing, the engineers have indeed shown that they can do it. Thank you very much. Let me now deal a little bit with the few pockets of distribution challenges that we face. Many transformers across the country are becoming obsolete and overstretched due to increasing demand and years of underinvestment. In about 10 years, our demand has doubled. In fact, when you look at the record, it has more than doubled. What it means is that we have to increasingly invest in the sector. But due to underinvestment over the years, this has resulted in overloads, low voltages, and recurring outages. Government is addressing this issue head-on by implementing a nationwide transformer upgrade and replacement program. As an immediate intervention, this month alone, we have installed almost 200 transformers, and we have the list with Roxanne. He will make that available to you. In Tamale, on the day of the incident, I personally visited Tamale, and we have the list of all the areas that these transformers have been installed. This week, we intend to deploy another 140 of these transformers. In all, we seek to deploy 2,500 transformers to improve supply reliability and improve the voltages as well. To improve these voltages, high capacity transformers are being deployed at key primary supply stations. Already, we have done Adenta, and that can be verified. We've done Lashibi, that can be verified. Yesterday, we did Teshinungwa, that can be verified. Within this week, by close of week, we will move to Kumasi to tackle the Rage primary substation. These are big, big transformers. And we are moving away from the 20 kVAs to about 30 kVAs and above. And that tells you that we are really investing in the sector. But it takes a bit of time to realize the benefits of all the investments we are making. The Ghana Grid Company is also preparing to commence critical transmission reinforcement works in Kumasi in June. And what we've decided is that we should allow the World Cup to pass. After that, we'll zoom in to do the transmission works. We're also working on some distribution lines, and Avensis will move to Kumasi this very week to commence work on the distribution lines. To further strengthen the system in Kumasi, Senate Energy Limited is airlifting a critical component which is expected to arrive here tomorrow and will be transported to Kumasi to further strengthen the generation network in partnership with Gridco. And so let me assure you that we are confronting both immediate disruption and long-term structural weaknesses within the ECG and NETCO operational areas. We inherited a challenge, but we are determined to address that challenge, like we did with the fuel issue, with the generation issue, with the IPPs, and all the other hydra-headed problems that we encountered. We are restoring what has been disrupted. We are replacing what is not fit for purpose, and we are determined to build a stronger, more resilient power system for the future. We remain fully committed to delivering reliable electricity supply to every Ghanaian. This experience you are going through is transient, it is temporary, and I assure the people of Ghana that we shall work around the clock to restore normalcy and improve the sector. Thank you very much, and may God bless us all. I'm most grateful.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister for Energy and Green Transition, for that crisp and well-created briefing. Well, at this stage, I know that there are many questions agitating the minds of media personnel gathered here, and so we would right away open the floor for questions. In the interest of time, please keep your questions brief without lengthy preambles. And as is the usual rubric, we expect that you identify yourself and the media organization you work for.
Hello. Good afternoon. My name is Shadrach Odamejare, Metro TV Ghana. My first question has to do on some questions I picked on social media. I was asking the minister, the doomsaw has been happening before these said issues with transformers and fires at Gridco. So I don't know how he would respond to that. And the second one is the stepping aside of the Gridco CEO. That also they are asking, is that not too reactionary, and is that not going to undermine the work of the said committee before the report comes in? And my last is a plea. Most of the people, like it or not, who point fingers and cast insinuations at the minister and every leader here will possibly do it in Chi or Ga. So can we please have a rap in Chi? Said yeah, to me brofunimu ye in Chi for no more metiase na yankokase minister ne say so non kai midas.
All right. Thank you very much. Yeah, Hanan, please move to the microphone. Yeah.
Thank you. My name is Abdul Hanan Adam, and I work with the EIB network. Minister, you said the ECG boss would, or ECG would provide timely update with regards to when these lights will go off. But is it not to say that that is timetable, a minority will put it? How do you respond to that? My second question has to do with the shake-up in the Ashanti region. Is it that you decided to do the shake-up because you agree with the party chairman in the region that it is some sort of sabotage with regards to power distribution in the region? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mark Solagogba from Joy FM Joy News. I have 3 questions. I don't know if I can ask.
So you need to make them snap.
Okay, yeah. So the first one, the minister rightly mentioned that we are facing this double whammy of a challenge in the power sector because of one, installation of transformers, and then the fire incident at the Akosombo Gridco substation. Now, I want to find out from the minister, for many of the people who are watching us, they want timelines on when all of this is going to end. I know the minister touched briefly or gave us a time to anticipate that it's all going to end. But many of the people watching us want clear timelines. They just want to see their lights on, and that's their concern. So I want to find out from the minister what clear timelines, can he give. And then the second question, it's a public interest question. I've seen comments on social media that the Gridco boss was actually asked to proceed on leave in April. He was given his letter in February, and that release saying that he's been asked to go on leave is just a face-saving thing by the government. I would love that he responds to that for me as well. And then my third question, what lessons are we learning from this incident? It is a force majeure, of course. We don't have any control over it. But what buffers are we going to create so that another time we have a force majeure like this, consumers and Ghanaians will not face this kind of disruption either in power supply? Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. So you will take the last one from Bloomberg, after which you answer.
Thank you very much. Yeah. My name is Akosombo. I correspond for Bloomberg. Honorable, regards the suspicion of possible arson, is there scope to use AI and special security installations around these, even the new ones you are installing, the 30 kV and what have you? Is there scope to use that and also to monitor for subsequent events when they happen? 2, regarding 1,000 megawatts that you said we have lost, can you put it in size and scope for us in proper context? For example, what is our total peak capacity or installed capacity or peak demand, so that we can put this rather in proper context? And also, if I'm installing new transformers, how is that going to affect our installed capacity moving forward? For just proper context. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. So the minister would answer these 5 questions. After which we take.
Thank you very much. Before the incident, you would attest that last year the power supply was very, very stable. Indeed, we received a lot of commendation following the generation stability and the supply we had. This current challenge came up around February, March, when we started moving into the heat, and some of these old transformers, in the heat of it, you begin to experience it. So that's a record. What has just happened last week, like you said, it's a force majeure. It's something that you do not have control over. And that ties into the last question. Our peak demand is about 4,350, or say 4,400. So if you lose 1,000 megawatts, that's about 25% of the population instantly suffering or being without power. So that's quite significant. But like I said, 2 units have been installed so far. The 3rd unit is on the way. And in terms of what you describe as timelines, I said the engineers have set an ambitious target that within this week they will restore. Transformer replacement, we have a first 3-month program. So in the next 3 months, we're going to do an emergency crash program of installing transformers. Then the next 6 months, we'll move into another phase. Then 1 year, we'll just be doing regular upgrades. And so in terms of specificity, when it comes to timeline, that is it. Stepping aside of the Gridco MD, yes, I visited the site, I think on Friday. And after receiving the briefing, I was convinced that he needed to step aside. It's in his own interest. You just spoke about conspiracy theory, all kinds of speculations and accusations. In fact, it helps him that when he steps aside and we conduct an impartial investigation, and it's done without prejudice. If you look at my letter on Friday, I stated that without prejudice, I've directed as minister that he steps aside. That is different from taking your normal leave. This is not a normal leave. If it's a normal leave, you can choose to come back. It's a normal leave. We can recall you and say that forgo your leave because we need you, especially in this critical moment. This is a ministerial directive, and so shall it be. Timely updates on when the areas will be affected. We've been providing that. In the past, sometimes we tend to try to dribble and deceive the people. You can't deceive the people forever. There are people at Gridco who will speak to the other party. It's not everybody who will be aligned to the government in any organization. And so when you are shedding 700 megawatts, and in the past you pretend and tell the people that you are not shedding load, the people know.
Weezer TV. Now I'd want to ask the minister, given the scale of current disruptions, what is the realistic timeline for full restoration of stable, uninterrupted power in our community?
I believe someone asked that question, but it's good that you've emphasized.
Because yesterday I had light out twice.
All right. We apologize profusely for that, but the minister would answer your question here. So, Eko, you have the last word.
Thank you. Minister, I indulge your waiver to do something upstream because it's all related. We noticed that on the back of the energy transitions and what have you, investments in that sector seem to have suffered or gotten some dwindle. Government said it's going to make the place quite exciting.
What sector are you referring to?
That is the upstream oil and gas sector, where government was supposed to give better fiscal regime to encourage more investments. This will translate into more power and what have you, given that we have our second Atuabo plant supposed to be in the offing. What is the update on that, and have we gotten any interest beyond the fact that Lucol and the rest were all interested in coming back? Can you update us on that? Thank you very much.
Because of your organization, I would permit that question.
Thank you.
Yes. All right.
Okay. I think the first one was on the debt situation. Like we said, we inherited a debt of about 80 billion cedis, and we've been addressing the debt situation, paying off legacy debts, and also working very hard to pay the IPPs a chunk of what is due them. When we assumed office, the IPPs were paid about 40%. We've taken it to as much as around 90%. In some instances, some even receive 100%. And so there's been remarkable improvement when it comes to the debts. Then cushioning. I have no problem if government cushions people, but we should avoid what happened in the past. And the ECG MD is here. During COVID, you were told that you'll be given free electricity. This government came and we are paying for that so-called free electricity. And so my advice has always been that It's good to provide the people with subsidy. It's good to cushion them, but let's budget for that and make the funds available for that subsidy. Nuclear, we are on that, and we are working very hard. Insurance, I want the investigation to address all the issues of insurance and related matters. And so I do not want to prejudice the issue of insurance. Whether doom CSCA, doom or doom cra or doom so, the first thing is, let's be honest. Look, once in a while we can have challenges, like we are just witnessing. Unpredictable, nobody foresaw it, nobody could tell the magnitude of it. And when you have such a situation, don't try to play tricks with the people. We have a deficit. And we've admitted that because of the fire incident, we have a deficit. I've directed ECG provide periodic updates on regional basis, areas that will be affected every 12 hours, because it's a very short duration. Like I said, we are looking at this week. So you can't do a weekly schedule. And even what you provide a day, it keeps changing, because just this afternoon we've had another plant come on. We are looking at another unit coming on. So we provide that periodic update. People are not happy. That's a fact. But I know that people are discerning. People are very discerning. Ghanaians have the wisdom. And they know that we have a legitimate, genuine challenge that is not of our making. And they know that we are putting efforts to address that. That is a better approach than telling the people that you are engaging in doom CSA. Volta region, we have a peculiar problem that we inherited. We operate 161 kV lines, 275 kVA lines, and 330. That section that you are talking about, they do not have any of these lines. And you can verify from the engineers. And so the voltages will be unstable since independence. But we are not just complaining. We are finding solutions. We've worked with Gridco. The immediate thing we are going to do is to construct a 1/6 line from Asiepe to Ho with improved transformers, so that we take Ho off the old line and give them a dedicated line. Ho is a big consuming area. So when you take them off and you give them that dedicated line, the remaining smaller towns or communities will see a boost in the voltages. Then we go ahead with the long-term measure to address the challenge. And next week we intend to go to Ho to engage or commence that exercise. So the people of Volta region, yes, I know that you've been suffering low voltages, including Otidamanko, Bimbila, all the way. And that's the spine we are talking about, and we are determined to deal with that. Inspection of the dams is a routine exercise. They keep inspecting the dam. Even with this challenge, they've quickly taken advantage of it and sent divers to inspect the dam. So the integrity of the dam will continue to inspect it. That is why we couldn't foresee this explosion and inferno. But I'm sure that the investigation will deal with that. And you know, Kumasi. Oh, I said the containers. Let me deal with that. I said I'll deal with that. I saw containers. Yeah, Kumasi has a peculiar issue. The network is very bad. And you can talk to every engineer. In fact, this work that I'm saying Advances is going to do should have ended in 2023. That is when they should have completed that. But it's dragged on. We have to do some investigation. We have a roadmap. And so we have the green light now with ECG to do that loop. It will bolster the transmission system. Then the primary distribution point. The one we did at Lashibi, for instance, I was told it's about 32 or so years old. I mean, a 32-year-old plant or generator, 23 years. A 23-year-old, I think one of them too was 32. So a plant that is stayed for 20-something years, and with increased consumption and increased demand, it will surely put pressure on it. That's why I said that if you take the rich area in Kumasi, we are completely changing the transformer at the primary distribution station and putting a bigger one to bolster the voltages. We are also going to work with Gridco. We are supposed to close a certain loop which will also bolster the system. Why maybe some people couldn't do it is that it will involve some minimum outages. But it has to be done. Yes, sometimes when you do these things, it creates some inconvenience. But the cost of postponing it is what we are witnessing today. So when we have to take a decision and improve the system, even if it will cause some temporal unease or some discomfort, we have to do that. It's a necessity. And so after the World Cup, we will do that exercise. We will go to Kumasi and explain to them. And I'm sure that they would appreciate and understand what we are doing. So we place priority on Kumasi. It will never be the case that President Mahama will neglect any part of the country. Because when we do that, we boost economic activity and it helps all of us. ECG containers, yes. When I assumed office, and you can check from the records, I set up a committee to account for the containers. The committee came back to me and said they couldn't account for a certain number of containers. And CTFM, you are here. You can just check your own records. John Jinapo, we will recover ECG missing containers or funds. So my priority first is to recover every single container at the port. In fact, that is what every minister should be doing. In addition to that, I've written to the Attorney General to look into possible criminality and let the law take its course. That's what the wise minister will do. We've recovered 1,569 containers so far. They were stuck there. And yet, ECG was buying the same containers and they were getting stuck there. So my vision to recover the containers remain unchanged. After we've recovered all the containers, we'll reconcile the figures with their manifest and with all their procurement. And if there are still challenges, we'll make that available. So we are really on course and we are doing what is needed, what is needful, and we are focused on that. Thank you very much.
There was a question on development in the upstream petroleum sector.
What was that? Yes, in the upstream sector. Oh yes, in the upstream sector, we've increased gas production from Nigeria. We've increased gas from ENI. They're doing around 210. Today they are doing 280. 280. Nigeria, they were doing about 70. They are doing about 100. Jubilee, they've gone to about 130. I mean, that's significant. In less than a year to achieve that feat on a three-pronged approach would only mean that you are really putting in place the measures. Like I said, this temporary situation, we are determined to deal with that. And we are going ahead to even increase more gas. We just signed a framework agreement with the Jubilee partners, 2 billion investment. We signed another framework agreement with ENI, 1.5 billion investment. For the first time in 6 years, the continuous decline of our oil production this year will halt it and turn it around. With Look Oil, I have good news for you. Next week I'll brief you. Something positive is happening. Very positive. We are making a significant headway and we are determined to address that challenge. We are making the sector attractive. All the big majors are coming in. Shell is showing interest, Chevron is showing interest. Petroleum Commission is leading us in that agenda and working with diligence, with transparency, and there's certainty now in the sector. So we are on course. In the downstream sector, in countries like France, in London and other countries, South Africa, Kenya, Tanzania, they don't even have the fuel. There are shortages there. Some countries do not even have the fuel. We've never suffered any supply disruption. We are rather providing subsidy. So we are on course. And sometimes we get these challenges. But I know that we overcome this challenge. Thank you. Okay. And you know, for with the Madam Osibebre, and your friends and children for Ghana for Nina, na atorenchem kɛseɛ a ɛtoyɛ anano yi ɛwɔ Akosombo anyinamankanea no a ɛgya ɛhyehye yɛ control center a ɛno nti no ama anyinamankanea no ahokyerɛ kakra abɛtɔ mu na yɛfrɛ mo sɛ yɛ mamo ɛmu nkyerɛkyerɛmu ne nea ɛkɔ so nyame nkyɛ deɛ engineers ɔmo yɛ adwuma ne me ne mo kasa deɛ mfidie ne ɛyɛ nsia mienu ɔmatimi ɛde aba ɛno ɛyɛ adwuma ɔmo gusu a ne ɛtɔ so miɛnsa no ɔmo de ɛno so ba nti nyame yɛ adom a ɛnkyɛ na ɔtwe yɛ mu yɛbɛso ano na enkanea no ɛsɛ gyina na kumasefoɔ yɛde adesronko ɛba hɔ ɛyɛ monyina monkanea na ɛha mo no yɛbɛso ano yɛbɛkora na ɛgyina yie na mo so monya enkanea ɛbɛboa mo yɛde transformers afoforo ɛba cables afoforo new power generation ɛne mfidinwuma bebree ɛba hɔ a ɛbɛboa ɛnyɛ kumase nko a ɛyɛ Ashanti region ɛne Ghana afana nyinaa na yenim sɛ ne aba no atorenchem kɛseɛ na yɛ nyinaa yɛnim kura sɛ bibi sɛ bɛsi nanso ato yɛn a ɛfi yɛ yire yɛ ho na yɛso ano na yɛdi dwuma no nti mo a mo nkanea no ɛdundum no ɛnyɛ boa payɔ yɛnim sɛ mo pɛ nkanea no nkanea no so ɛnkyɛ biara ɛbɛgyina medam ase bebree thank you.
All right, shall we have some order, please? So this is truly a special session of the Government Accountability Series. The peculiarity of the situation requires that we alter the format a bit. Otherwise, usually we hold it strictly in the official language of Ghana, which is English. But we have to make this special dispensation because of the urgency of the situation. And there are segments of Ghanaian society whose medium of communication is Chi, and that is why we have had to do this. But in a nutshell, the minister has conveyed government's deep concern about the situation and stringent efforts at resolving it as quickly as possible. And we do hope that normalcy is restored quickly so that we can all get back to our lives. On that note, I thank you very much for attending upon us. And we hope to see you sometime next week for another edition. Thank you all for coming.